Hi, I'm AJ Riedel, host of the Thriving Through podcast, the podcast where each week I have real conversations with self-employed consultants about what it really takes to build a profitable and fulfilling consulting practice. So here's something I bet you've wrestled with. Are you struggling to find your ideal target market while feeling pulled in too many directions by the clients you could serve? Yeah, I thought so. Laurie is here today, and trust me, she gets it. She's a professional coach and trainer who's been at this for 27 years. And she's known for taking a really authentic approach to business development. What's cool is how she's evolved from traditional one-on-one coaching into collaborative partnerships that actually work. She's helped coaches and business owners get real clarity in their marketing and build sustainable businesses that don't burn them out. Look, if you want to figure out how to navigate big business changes without losing who you are in the process, this conversation is going to be gold for you. Please welcome Laurie Cameron. Welcome to Thriving Through, Laurie. I'm so delighted to have you as my guest today.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
And I'm going to launch right in. This is a question I ask, two questions that I ask every podcast guest. One is, how long have you been self-employed?
Since February of 1998,
Okay, so you are
late last millennium.
seasoned coach and consultant.
Yes.
Yes. Second question, what was your pathway to becoming self-employed? I mean, why did you decide to become self-employed?
And that's such a great question. And kind of thinking back on all these years, and it was probably in the mid to late 1990s after a divorce and figuring out kind of what I wanted to do, how I wanted to rebuild, who am I now, all those questions that are pretty typical for post-divorce. And I just remember my brother um, one time asking, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And I didn't know right away, but a couple days later, the answer came to me. Working out one Sunday morning was, I want to get paid to talk to people. And and I didn't know where that came from and what to do with it, but eventually I started looking at being a professional speaker, right? And I joined the local NSA chapter in Colorado. I was in Denver at the time, and about a year into that, I took just the community or adult continuing ed classes that a lot of communities have. I took one about, becoming a coach. And it was just one evening. And by the end of that evening, I went, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I got training. And at the time, there were only 3 training programs for coaches in the world. Now there's thousands, but
Mhm.
I picked one of them and went through training and just knew that it's what I came here to do. So it really felt a lot more like, I guess, a calling or a purpose. And I I ended up quitting my day job before I met anybody that said, "Don't quit your day job before you start this." Um, but I did, and a lot of trial and error and stumbling and challenges and fears and doubts and clarity and evolution on a variety of different levels. But that's really what got me started into professional coaching.
Okay. Thinking back, what what tell me a story about a challenge that you experienced early on as you started to develop your coaching business.
For me, it was not having a clue how to market and not knowing really what marketing was. And
Mhm.
it The only thing that came to mind when I thought of marketing a business, because I'd never been a solo entrepreneur before, and when I thought about marketing, I thought it's selling. And I don't like to be sold to, if
Mhm.
somebody needs to make a sale, and I didn't want to do that with others. And my original training really didn't have much marketing training in it, or how to do it, or why, or even how to create a message, or who my clients were. I just kind of thought, okay, this is what I want to do as a coach. Now what? So the biggest challenge was really finding my way into a target market, specialty, and how I talk about it, and kind of that systematization of
Right.
a marketing process, right?
I call
In
those
there.
the foundations, the target market, the message, and your value proposition,
Mhm. Right.
messaging. All of those are the foundations of marketing before you do anything else. And
Yeah.
most of us flounder and flail our way through it.
Yeah. And I did for many years. And then there was another coach training organization that I got involved with that really hits it well and really talks about marketing. And I actually ended up becoming a trainer for the school. And I've been doing that for, let's see, almost 23 years. So September of 2002, I joined the faculty of that coach training school, and I've been training professional coaches ever since as well. So um, I guess I've learned a lot by teaching it to others. So that's been a
Okay.
great benefit for me.
Okay. So you have your own coaching business
Yes.
and you train other coaches, you train marketing to other coaches.
Well, actually, the program is training coaching skills, business, or how to coach people, how to build and market a coaching business.
Okay.
So it's the whole package in there. Yeah.
Okay. And what's this? I know it's impossible to narrow this down because marketing, that whole business development package that you teach, but what is the single most important piece of advice self-employed consultants need to know about marketing?
Get clear on your target market. Who is the who that you want to fill your business with? And as a coach, and this actually been one of my challenges since 1998, is I want to coach everybody.
Mhm.
And that desire, that wish has not gone away. So for the last 27 and a half years now, it's been um, kind of a constant reminder that I can coach everybody, but it doesn't make any sense to market to everybody, because I've tried that in the past too. And it just was all over the place, and, scattered results and all of that. So I still have a challenge with, keeping that focus, and because I'll go, oh, I want to coach these people. Oh, I can train this too over here to that people. And it's kind of a sometimes a daily struggle just to stay focused. But I know the importance of it. So
Right, right. And you said something what important. You could have, we can have more than one target market or ideal client, but you can only market to one at a time.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I tell my coaching students, and what I remember for myself is I know I can coach anybody that shows up and says, "Hey, I'm ready. Here's my credit card number. Let's get started." And yet for marketing, the more focused I am, the easier it is. So, and I had to work through but I don't want to leave these people out. And oh, what about those people? And I don't want to leave anybody out. And yet um, it's just a really hard way to build a strong, sustainable business, is, you know, being that scattered all the time.
I don't remember who it is, but somebody famous had a famous line, often quoted line of when you market to everyone, you market to no one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why is it that you said it's easier when you narrow your focus and you're focused in on one ideal client? Why is it easier? I mean, that's
Well,
kind of counterintuitive to,
it
to
is.
new
Right.
people.
Right. It is. And um, let's see, a wide variety of reasons is that it's easier if you know who they are, it's easier for me to figure out where they are. And when I can figure out where they are, I can get in front of them and start talking to them and get to know them. Because I also, the other challenge is kind of staying in my own head about building a message and, what they want and how this will help and everything else with my training as well, because I'm transitioning more into training and out of coaching. Um, but I need to talk to them. I need to get to know them. I need to build relationships with them and say, hey, what do you really, really want? What's getting in your way? What's your biggest vision and what's your biggest dream? And and talk to them and get to know them and really truly listen and then
Mhm.
tailor the marketing message that I know will feel compelling to my potential clients, my target market, as well as in what I write in my marketing. If they feel seen and heard in what I write, then that connection is already there. And you can't consult, coach, train really without that connection with people.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to have that connection. Um, my Brendan Lucero, who teaches a course on messaging, he says that you want to understand your target market and hone your messaging so that it's so good that when you speak to them, they say, wow, she's in my head. How does she know what I'm thinking?
Yeah,
How does she know what I'm feeling? I've got
right.
to hire her because she understands me. She gets me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important because, fundamentally, each one of us, we just want to be seen and heard. We want to know that we're
Yes.
not alone. We want to know that somebody out there understands, and it's like, oh, she understands. That feels so good.
Yes. She understands my problem, my pain points.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
understands what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that is getting harder in the digital age. I think, harder to get as a person because we're inundated with so many impersonal messages, like
Oh,
getting
right.
DMs the minute you get a new connection on LinkedIn and then suddenly you're getting a sales pitch from them. They don't know you from
Yeah.
the man in the moon, and yet they're trying to sell you on something. They don't know you.
Yeah, I have a tendency to resist that. My resistance comes up when that pops up in my messaging. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Which
usually
makes me want to
sometimes
know, sorry for interrupt, that I don't want to do that to others either. So,
exactly. Yes. Yes. And you mentioned earlier that early on you had this notion about what sales was,
yeah.
that you didn't like to be sold to. What we're doing as coaches and consultants is not pushy sales tactics. In fact, they wouldn't work for us.
No.
It's really, I mean, how have you honed, how would you characterize, because you are selling, whether you like it or
Yes.
not, you're
Yeah.
selling. So how have you, what kind of sales process do you use that feels really authentic and comfortable and is effective?
Getting to know people, meeting people, doing either networking or even, meeting people on LinkedIn and reaching
Hmm.
out and just saying, I'd love to know more about what you do. And in recent terms, and I think I mentioned this when we originally talked, was or is that I feel like I'm transitioning, evolving to looking more at collaboration. Like, and I'm still playing with it. So this is a new challenge because it's a new approach for me here. is to look for organizations, companies, entities that have a gap that what I do and what I'm good at can help them fill. So in looking at that, so the strategy for that, I'm still kind of working that out, but having some types of professions in mind that I might be able to collaborate with, and then kind of keeping that on my radar. And when I'm, networking locally at my local chamber here, or on LinkedIn, or my professional organization with coaches, just looking for opportunities to say, hey, can we explore possibility of collaboration and how we might work together to serve this target market at a higher level together. Um,
Mhm.
so it's one I've been kind of tiptoeing into over the last few, probably just kind of throughout this year so far. And now being midway through, I'm I've gone from tiptoeing to confidently taking steps to reach out to people and have a more collaborative marketing model.
And how's it going so far?
It's going well. A lot of interest, and I was reading a newsletter recently that said interest is great, but it's even better if it shows up on your bank account. Right? So
Uh-huh.
so still kind of looking to move from interest to, yes, let's work together. Here's how, and here's what the collaborative compensation might look like or whatever. So still working on that, but making a lot more connections. And what helps me too in talking about target market is targeting specific types of industries that I think would be a good collaborative effort with me and what I do and what I offer. So it's still narrowing that down and getting clear on that. And at the same time, being open to any possibilities that might kind of pop in and go, oh, I hadn't thought of that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But staying
Mm-hmm.
focused on the type of professions and companies that I really want to talk to and explore that with.
How do you make it systematic rather than just hoping good things happen? So you have a conversation with
Yeah.
somebody in a company that you both serve the same target audience and collaborating might make sense. And they say, yeah, I think that's a great idea. But then there's no next steps. So how do you kind of move it to the next step?
Yeah, and that's a bit of the age-old dilemma, and I go through this with my coaching students as well, is how much do you or when does follow-up turn into chasing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't want to chase, I want to attract, I want to allow, I want to be open. Um, so as far as a system goes, is being on LinkedIn and going to the chamber and connecting with people and scheduling follow-ups and having conversations and kind of building that relationship. So the system really is about building relationships. And how we normally do that is we start with hi and we move into commonalities and getting to know somebody and just continuing to move that relationship forward as well. So that's the system I'm in right now. Because the other thing too that I've kind of been evolving through is um, who am I now? I want to, because there again, 27 years, there's been a lot that's going on. I've gotten 27 years older than when I
And wiser.
started. Oh, thank you
Mhm.
for that. I appreciate that. And looking at at kind of how I want to do it now, how I want to market, how I want to run my business, and how I want to serve clients and serve greater humanity with my work, because it's all wrapped up in that same package. And I feel like I'm at a place now where um, I don't want to be doing the drive 80 hours a week kind of a thing and make it work and the pushing and stuff. I'm really aware of creating a new way of me being in the world as well as me being in my business. Um, so that's as we say, it's a wonderful work in progress on that. And I think I may have veered off from the question. I'm not
Yep.
sure.
Actually, that was a great segue, because I was going to ask you about when you're rebuilding, you're reinventing yourself, you're rebuilding your business model. And the question, how do you reinvent yourself without losing your core identity?
Oh, what a great question. Um, and for me, it's been starting, and there again, throughout this year has been this process of um, I liken it to a being in a chrysalis, right? Caterpillar, cocoon, chrysalis into the butterfly. And in the chrysalis, things are just really, really messy, right? They're all
Mhm.
goopy and everything like that until things reform and out comes a butterfly. Yay. Um, and I think I'm still in that goopy chrysalis stage in there. And it starts, for me, it starts with connecting with me and who am I now? What's important to me now? What are my priorities and my values? How do I want to spend my time? How do I want to generate revenue? How does all that fit together? But it really starts with, um, actually, I want to kind of turn your question, I want to flip your question. And instead
Okay.
of how to do business and stay authentic, is how do I stay authentic and do business? So it's the authenticity, and it's self-reflection, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of walks, a lot of hikes, a lot of sitting on my balcony with a cup of tea or a glass of wine in the evening and and really checking in. And because frankly, I consider meditation to be a business procedure, right?
Yes.
Part of my business systems is meditating or going for a walk and just clearing things out to really stay connected with who I am and what I want now in my life. And I will say one of the big challenges to that is being on LinkedIn and seeing, people I'm connected to, the people that are the super high drivers, let's go for $10 million a year this year. And I have to remember I'm okay not being that. I'm really okay with finding what works for me and being true to that and really honoring that. But it's so easy to get sucked into all the stuff that's going on, like I said on LinkedIn, going, oh, I have to do it that way. If they're successful, I have to do it that way. Oh, I have to do it that way. I have to do it like they do it. And I have to keep pulling myself back from that and going, what can I take from that will work for me now?
Mhm.
So it's that constant push pull in there.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the right answer will come when you're meditating or walking, and
Yeah.
not when you're not all caught up in LinkedIn, which is the external world telling you
Yeah.
what to do. And you've got a wonderful practice of meditation and clearing your mind and making space so that that intuition, that intuitive thought can come
Mhm.
through. And I mean, it sounds like you've listened to your intuition all along.
I'm getting better at it every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one of those messages, and I was sitting and the message came and I got up and I wrote it on my whiteboard, and that's my business model is collaboration. And now I'm in the process of, deciding and strategizing what that looks like and how to create systems around it and um, how to generate revenue from it, all of those things. But it came from that one um, kind of message that I
Hmm.
downloaded from wherever. And the other one, here's another one that came up, and I actually have it a sticky note on my wall above my monitor, and it says, "You have to ask."
Mm.
And I have that,
Yeah.
and I keep thinking, if there's something I want, or somebody I want to talk to, or somebody I want to connect with, or collaborate with, or learn more about, I have to ask. And it's like it was so simple, and yet it's in those kind of those quieter moments that there's a wisdom out there that's a lot smarter than this brain up here. And I, when I listen to it, I'm I do a lot better and I feel a lot better.
Yeah. One of the, in addition to collaboration, you're also moving from selling services to selling products. So
Yeah.
tell me more. That I mean that is a kind of a major transition from a marketing perspective.
No
What's been the
kidding.
hardest part of that transition so far?
Um, well, it came from there again, being at this point in my life, and I want to um, create what I call asynchronous revenue. Some call it passive. It's not really passive. It still requires work. However, asynchronous revenue so that I can generate revenue when I'm out on a hike or, wine tasting with friends or, volunteer work, whatever it is. And it occurred to me, I have 27 years of content, courses, workshops, articles, writing, thoughts I've collected, um, all of, just I have a body of thoughts, right, for
Hmm.
the last 27 years. And in looking at how to turn that into revenue has been the challenge here. So online courses and one of the challenges too is with a slightly different target market. Part of it is rebuilding well, essentially an email list, right? The connections that I can reach out to and say, I've got this course. So I'm in the process of taking what I already know works and
Hmm.
rebuilding that, having the freebie to get people, onto my list, and the not one freebie, a few freebies on there, and low cost or low or what I call budget friendly small courses. And so in looking at how to rebuild this particular target market it's a challenge, and because I want it to just be there right now. That would be so much easier. Wave a magic wand. Here's 5,000 people that I can email. Um, so in this evolution or this iteration of my business, there's that some things that I feel like I'm not necessarily restarting, but kind of going back closer to the beginning and going, okay, I know how to do this, I know how it works, and just to do it, take the
Yeah.
steps to do that.
How do you keep your energy up? I mean, because
Yeah.
when I ran my own consulting business for over 35 years, and when I had a major client, choose to take my project in-house, I didn't have the I didn't want to start over. I felt like, and it was at that time when digital marketing was becoming the way to do it, and I hadn't done it that way because I started in 1990. and I didn't have the energy or the motivation to do it. I just didn't, I just couldn't face it. So I closed my business. So how do you kind of, do you ever have those kinds of thoughts and how do you overcome them?
Of course, I have those kinds of thoughts. That's it's all part of it, right? And it's part of the ebb and flow and the ups and downs of not just being a human being, but being a business owner as well. And there again, it's intuitively listening to my body and saying, when it says it's time to take a break, or it's time to take a walk, or it's time to dig in and stick with it for another hour, then I listen to that and getting a lot better
Yeah.
at that. And after, this many over a quarter century being working from home, um, it still can be isolating. So it's been really important for me to make sure I have connections, community involvement to get me out of the house, or at least get me on the phone or on a Zoom. But really, out of the house is always better. And and that, knowing that that also feeds me, so that's important to make sure that I put into my, not necessarily every day, but every week, is being with like-minded people that are, doing important work in the world. And that feeds me, that gives me energy, and then I'm ready to go back. It's also, too, as I think about your question, it's knowing myself and knowing that when I have the most energy to work, and maximizing that, because I I love getting up in the morning and writing. And it's generally before I need to do emails or phone calls or anything like that. But when I'm when I'm laying in bed and can't sleep and I have these ideas, because that's where a lot of my ideas come from, or when they come, then I I know when I'm most productive throughout the day. And for the times that I'm less productive, I find things that are um, less mentally challenging and things that are more fun, like my brain gets to go out and play on Canva.
Mhm.
And so I know that that's actually energizing for me, even though I can still get um, so in the zone with that kind of creation, the writing, the Canva, the just the product, all of that stuff. Um, that I set I set my watch for 30 minutes, and I go, oh, I have to stand up, because if I didn't, I would sit in this chair for 2 hours and think, oh my gosh, I forgot to go to the restroom. So, but it's taking
Yeah.
care of myself and paying attention to my body.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. I have one more question. I have many more questions that I would like to ask, but I think we're getting towards the end of our
Okay.
time. I like to keep these at around 30-35 minutes. You're getting toward an age where, like I am,
Hmm.
where most people are thinking retirement. Like
Yeah.
I closed my consulting business right before I turned 65. And then I immediately decided I wanted to open a coaching business. So, and you're kind of reinventing yourself in
Mhm.
a similar way. What keeps you going?
Oh, that's a really good question, because there are lots of days that I go, oh. And then what I remember is, I think it's what I'm here to do. So whatever work I do, if whether it's coaching, training coaches, or the kind of the training world that I want to get into, away from one-on-one coaching, I still do that when it shows up, but I really want to move to um, training teams and leaders, and then the products as
Mhm.
well. Um, what keeps me going is knowing that, or not just knowing, but really truly believing that I'm here to make the world a better place, even if it's just a little teeny bit for one person. That's what I'm here to do. And I think coaching, I think what I train helps people feel better about themselves, better about their work, better about communicating with each other. And so I really see it more as, like I said, a calling, a service. And I just can't imagine retiring or to stop doing what I think helps people feel better about themselves and the world. And so this next iteration is about how can I do it and have more time to play, right? At
Mhm.
this age, play with the grandkids, go out and, service projects. And I volunteer a lot, and I definitely want to keep doing that. But it's what keeps me going is remembering my big why, right? It's capital W, capital H, capital Y, is why I'm here in this lifetime, in this existence, and how do I express that, with friends, with family, and with my work. So that's the thing that keeps me going is I don't want to, you don't retire from a purpose and you don't retire from a calling. You just find a new way to do it. Or I
Yes,
find a new way to do it.
and your why is so compelling, and you don't feel like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you haven't you haven't finished yet.
No, it's okay to put those words in my mouth, AJ. That's fine. Yeah, because no, and I want to keep doing this because this work, and for me, it's work with a capital W, and I want to keep doing it for as long as I can. And every way that I can stay connected with it and move forward with it. And, the next person that I'm able to touch and they go, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way. Oh, I can see this. Or, oh yeah, I'm feeling better about this. Then that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps my energy and my motivation. And so it's really actually, if you look at the concept of a message, like we were talking about for a marketing message for a business, this is in a purpose statement, the the benefit
Mission
statement,
statement.
the
Uh-huh.
what?
The mission statement.
Mission statement, but it's the what this not the selling point, the benefit statement. There's a lot of different
Yeah.
words for it. Anyway, I created that for my life. And, this is why I'm here. This is my mission, my purpose, my value for being here. And this is how I want to show up every day. And this is who I want to serve with that. So it really starts with my big why and um and my own mission, and then how does work fit into that?
Got it. Got it. Yeah, and it starts with the why. I love it.
My
And
my
on
personal why. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And on that note, it is a wrap on this
Oh my
episode
gosh,
of
it
the
went so
Thriving Through
fast.
podcast. Thank you, Laurie,
It,
for being my
thank you.
guest.
Thank you.
Man, I could have talked to Laurie for another hour, but here's what I really want to stick with you from today. Your authenticity isn't something you have to hide to be successful in business. It's actually your secret weapon. Laurie proved that when you get crystal clear on who you really want to serve and then show up as yourself, marketing stops feeling like an uphill battle. So here's what I want you to do. And I'm talking like right now, right after you finish listening to this. Grab a piece of paper and spend 15 minutes writing down exactly who your ideal client is. Not the 47 different types of people you could help, but that one specific person who lights you up when you think of working with them. And then ask yourself, what would I say to this person that would make them go, Holy cow, she totally gets me. That's it. That's your starting point. And honestly, that simple exercise might just change everything about how you approach your business. You know what Laurie said that really hit me? You don't retire from a purpose, you just find new ways to express it. Whether you're brand new to consulting or you've been doing this for decades, that purpose, that authentic why of yours, that's what's going to carry you through. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Thriving Through podcast. I'm AJ Riedel, and I'll catch you next week for another one of these real, no BS conversations about building a consulting practice that actually works. And until then, keep thriving through.